There we go. Last time. Hello, party people. How's it going? How's it going? Good afternoon. Alright. I'm gonna get this started. I have to just move a few things over as always. Mm, 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 mm. I see. There we go. Okay. Let's transition this over. Hey, how's it going? I'm RU Hero. I'll be your host today. If you haven't been here before, welcome in. If you have been, welcome back. I turn your favorite characters into spray cans. And if you didn't know that, now you do. I also make games as well. Starting next week, Monday through Friday, I'll be doing game development in my morning streams, and we'll continue doing art in the afternoon streams. This is a design I actually did this morning. It's gonna have this little guy. Whoa, what happened? There we go. I was like, what happened to my little guy? So yeah, this is what I worked on this morning. Just a little animation to show how I messed up posting on TikTok this morning or last night. But yeah, we'll keep working our way through our current run. I'm gonna give it a little time before I start up our Magic the Gathering lore session, part 3. Yeah, part 3. I also have this thing that I want to actually get started. Is everything good? Let's see. Twitch is up. I'm gonna check to see if the other platforms are up. It looks like YouTube is good. Twitch is good. Um, I need to see something. I want to see how do I add, what is this, magma to my stream. I wonder if I make a separate window, or is it like a plugin? Is there a plugin for magma on Streamlabs? Let's see. Nope, it's not, and I almost exited the stream by accident. Okay, let's check over here. All right. I think we'll figure this out in a second. Might have to just share like a screen. Alright, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I think I know what to do. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Did I figure it out? I did! Let's go! Okay. Okay. Can I interact with this? Alright. Let's find a way to get this actually working the way I want it to. Hey, there we go. Okay, 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 okay. Let's see. I think all I have to do is crop this down and then I'm good to go. Can I like, let's see, if I push enter while magma select it, will it do anything? Nope. Okay. Do they have the capabilities to crop this? I gotta figure out how to get this the way I want it to be. That's so bad. Okay. Let's lock my iPad so I don't select it when I'm moving this thing. Like I want it to be bigger. Move this over here and I'll drop the link to that so that people can doodle. Yo, welcome, welcome. What's poppin', everybody? Refresh this because it didn't tell me who dropped in. I don't know who's in here, who's not in here. But what's poppin', everybody? Okay. I have to figure out how the other guy made his full. He made his full screen and open a new tab. Nope, that doesn't do what I thought it would do. View. Full screen isn't what I want for it. Fit screen. I'm in here like 20 times. It's a person named Hollow Alligator. I don't know who that is. But, alright. I'm going to figure out how to make this full screen. Cursors, comments. Oh, we can talk in this? This is cool. Okay, I don't. I just want to see just. Enable background, flip cursor. Let's turn off tooltips and I might have to just make a custom mask for this so that it can be zoomed in. Because this is fit the screen. And I wonder if I copy this version of it, if it will update or if it just stays the same. Nope, just stays the same. Okay, I keep making multiple ones. Alright, there we go. I'm just gonna get into it. Alright. What mode am I in? Let's do projection. Alright, so y'all are ready to wrap up this Magic the Gathering lore? I didn't prep another design to go through, and like I'm almost done with her design work. So today's stream is going to be a pretty short stream. We're only doing like 30 minutes because that's all we have left on the actual video that we were watching yesterday. So I'm going to mute all of my channels so I can't hear myself. And we're going to finish up this Magic the Gathering lore of Nicol Bolas. Alright, and I need to change out the big display for the mini display. Yeah, alright. Boom, 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 boom. I'll drag magma underneath here, turn on. Yep, that's the right one. Perfect. Alright, I'm just waiting for my audio syncer to refresh so that I can switch over to, I guess I can finish. Alright, here we go. Let's see.
Consist of Gideon Jura, Jace Bellerin, Chandra Nalar,
All right.
Nissa Ravane, and later Liliana Vess subdue the released Eldrazi on Zendikar and Innistrad. They turn their attention to Chandra's home plane of Kaladesh, an energetic and vibrant plane suffused with mana that fuels the most technologically advanced civilization ever seen. A plane of artifice and invention, Kaladesh is filled with bright minds and burning passions. But dark undercurrents reside below the surface. The Inventor's Fair, a showcasing of the best artifacts the plane has to offer, is infiltrated by Nicol Bolas's agent Tezzeret. The Planeswalker presides as head judge of the Inventor's Fair, but he's there more than just to judge trinkets. After pontification, his master determined a being on the plane was nearing a breakthrough in interplanar travel that had been severely crippled by the accursed Great Mending. So he sends Tezzeret to identify and retrieve the technology. The being is an elf artificer and visionary named Rashmi, the Eternity's Crafter, and she stumbles upon the rediscovery of travel through space and time. This is seen in the art and flavortext of Paradoxical Outcome. Rashmi goes on to craft the planar bridge, but unfortunately her technology can only transport inorganic matter. During the Aether Revolt against the Consulate, Tezzeret locates the planar bridge and merges its artificial components with his own metallic body, incorporating it into his person, seen in the card, One with the Machine. The Gatewatch, who have now recruited the Leone and Ajani Goldmane, learn of Tezzeret's plan and cannot allow him to deliver the planar portal technology to his master. They attempt to stop him in a battle at the bridge, and Liliana Vess defeats Tezzeret while using the Chain Veil. She tortures the Planeswalker until he reveals his master's location. In pain, Tezzeret tells her that Nicol Bolas is on Amonkhet, the seat of his power. The remaining members of the Gatewatch destroy the planar portal, but Tezzeret manages to escape with the core intact. One more step in Bolas's designs is complete. The Gatewatch deliberate on their next course of action. Ajani, who has fought against the legendary Elder Dragon, warns them of rash decisions, that they should not follow Bolas to Amonkhet. It's a plan of his own creation, where he will have considerable advantage against them and a myriad of traps already in place. He suggests patience and calling upon more Planeswalker allies to defeat the dragon. But time is not on their side, and the Gatewatch know Bolas is planning something that could impact millions of lives. They agree that speed is most important, so they leave the Leonin behind and follow Bolas's trail to the desert plain of Amonkhet. It's been nearly 60 years since Nicol Bolas culled Amonkhet, rewrote its history, and mentally subjugated its gods to his will. Despite this, the Gatewatch are taken aback by how serene, how efficiently the city of Noctimoon runs behind the protective veil of the Heckma. We can see Bolas's paradise in the flavor text of Open into Wonder, which reads, "The one thing the Gatewatch didn't expect to find on a plane ruled by Nicol Bolas was perfection." And that of the card Those Who Serve, which states, "The dead perform all work here, farming, building, teaching, even embalming their fellow mummies. The living need do nothing but train." What system could be more perfect? The religion of Amonkhet believes that the afterlife is the ultimate award given by their illustrious god pharaoh to those who are worthy, and to be deemed worthy, one must pass all the trials of the gods, becoming a lethal
What's
and
poppin'?
efficient
Welcome to the
killing
stream.
machine. They are then granted death and taken to the god pharaoh. The accounting of hours states that when the second sun rests between the horns of the god pharaoh, as it is depicted in the art of Approach of the Second Sun, the god pharaoh himself will return to Amonkhet, open the gates to the afterlife, and welcome all to live eternity in paradise. It doesn't take the Gatewatch long to realize that nothing on the surface of this plane is truly as it seems. Bolas's taint has infected Amonkhet to its core. What the Elder Dragon has actually been doing is creating an army of Lazotep-plated zombies called Eternals. The trials ensure that only the strongest pass. They are then killed and transformed into Eternals, ruthless killing machines with formidable skill and completely obedient to the God Pharaoh. The Gatewatch has no idea yet what the Eternals' purpose is in the Elder Dragon's plans, but they attempt to stop the madness and make the people of Naktamun see reason. They're too late, and within 2 days of their arrival on the plane, the second sun rests between the great twinned horns. The prophesized accounting of hours begins. The God Pharaoh has arrived. While each hour's prophecy is fulfilled in a literal sense, it's not in the way the people of Amonkhet imagined. In the hour of revelation, the gate to the afterlife opens, revealing the vile demon Razaketh, who turns the river to blood and destroys all hope. The three forgotten and corrupted gods reveal themselves in the following hours. The hour of glory sees the Scorpion God kill other gods and deem all unworthy of the God Pharaoh's gift. In the hour of promise, the Locust God destroys the protective barrier of the Hekma, allowing the desert and its blight to invade the city. And in the hour of eternity, the Scorpion God leads legions of undead Eternals, slaying all that remain. The Gatewatch are helpless against the onslaught, but they try as best they can to save citizens, to beat back Bolas' zombies, and to protect Amonkhet. But even they are not prepared for the unaccounted hour, the one not mentioned in prophecy, the hour of devastation. Nicol Bolas, the second son and God Pharaoh himself, alights on the sands of Naktamun before the Gatewatch. Even with their combined might, they're no match for the Elder Dragon that has survived 30,000 years, that has the power of the Maelstrom flowing through him. Bolas' power is absolute, as mentioned in the flavor text of Hour of Devastation. Everything here exists or perishes at my whim, including you, Gatewatch. Each planeswalker attacks Bolas with their own methods, and each is soundly defeated. Gideon's strength cannot compete with the raw power of the dragon, and Nicol Bolas even pierces his shield of invulnerability. Chandra's torrents of fire are simply reflected by Bolas' scales. After all, fire is part of a dragon's essence. Nissa attempts to form elementals from the surrounding land, but it's been corrupted beyond redemption by the Elder Dragon, and he uses his influence to turn noxious magic back on the elf.
Skiachi.
Jace goes for a mental
Popping
attack,
to say
and
hi,
Bolas
but I'm
allows the
heading
Blue
off
Mage
to
to
bed.
enter his
Hope your
thoughts
evening
before
goes
crushing
well.
his mind completely.
Hey, Sketchy,
Hi.
thanks for joining
The
in.
blow to Jace's thoughts
Hope you
triggers
have a good
failsafe
night.
placed by Ugin the Spirit Dragon, who, due to Sarkhan Vol's travel back into the timeline,
And also,
was saved
thank you.
rather than killed by Bolas centuries ago.
Yeah, today's going to be a short stream.
The failsafe
It's only a
prevents
30-minute
Bolas
stream
from
instead of an
learning of
hour.
his brother's
But I
survival,
appreciate you dropping
and
in.
sends Jace planeswalking to Ixalan. Liliana uses her powers of necromancy to send forth zombies, but they are merely ignored by the God Pharaoh, who offers to spare Vess's life and train her in use of the powerful Chain Veil. One by one, the Gatewatch is defeated, and one by one, they flee their failure. With the harvesting of Lazartep and creation of an internal army, Nicol Bolas' decades-long triumph is one crucial step closer to completion. The battered and disgraced Gatewatch retreats to Dominaria to lick its wounds and seek allies in the future conflict against Bolas. Here they gain a member in the Chronomancer Teferi, who has once already confronted and lost to the Elder Dragon. But they lose a member in Nissa Ravane. Meanwhile, an amnesiac Jace Beleren finds himself marooned on Ixalan, trapped there by the immortal sun, the artifact created by Azor long ago in hopes of imprisoning Nicol Bolas. He's picked up by the Gorgon planeswalker Vraska, who is currently acting as an agent of the Elder Dragon. She met with Bolas on his meditation plane and was offered a deal. He would instate her as guild leader of her Golgari Sworn if she traveled to Ixalan and retrieved the immortal sun, whose location he most assuredly learned from scouring his twin's mind back on Tarkir. Vraska agrees, planeswalks to Ixalan, rescues Jace, and proceeds to make way to the lost city of Orazka, using as her guide Bolas's thaumatic compass. As the pair of planeswalkers approach the city, Jace's memories come rushing back, and he realizes Vraska's purpose, what her benefactor is after. They learn of Bolas's plans for the plane of Ravnica, that something very important to him is there, and the two agree that they must keep their meeting and newfound affections towards one another a secret. So Jace wipes the recent memories from Vraska's mind, after which she claims the immortal sun. Bolas's artificial agent Tezzeret planeswalks to Ixalan, and with the planar bridge technology, brings the immortal sun to his master. This is seen in the art of Mastermind's acquisition, another piece of a nefarious puzzle. Meanwhile on Dominaria, Gideon and Liliana make their way to the Cabal stronghold, where
I
they
did not make
confront
enough
Demon
space
Lord
for the
Belzebub,
mouth on this one.
the last demon to
That's why
whom
I'm having
Vessels were
problems.
sold. A contract brokered by Nicol Bolas. Here, Gideon acquires the reforged Blackblade, a sword of legend forged by Dakin Blackblade thousands of years ago, and one that has tasted the blood of an elder dragon. Gideon hopes that it will be strong enough in the coming fight against Bolas. Jura is bested in swordplay by the demon, but Liliana unleashes the full wrath of the Chainveil on Belzenlock, fueling it with her rage and hatred. In moments, the demon is no more, and Vess is finally free from indenture. Her triumph is short-lived, for from the darkness bursts a golden flame. The god pharaoh of Amonkhet planeswalks to Dominaria. As Nicol Bolas mediated the contract between Liliana and her demons, he put a failsafe in place. Should none of the demons survive, Vess's soul would belong to Bolas. This is highlighted in the art of In Bolas's Clutches, whose flavor text reads, "Your contract is in default. You belong to me now. Serve or die." Liliana has no choice. She turns her back on the Gatewatch and joins the ranks of Bolas's agents. She will fill an important role for the dragon in the coming battle. The Gatewatch and their planeswalker allies can do no more. They all agree that they must converge on the plane of Ravnica and join forces to stop whatever mission the Elder Dragon has planned, which is precisely what Bolas wants. After decades of machinations, Bolas's plan of regaining his godhood is primed. A powder keg is due to explode on Ravnica, and the multiverse will never be the same. The Gatewatch hastily reconvene on the city plane of Ravnica with a ragtag group of new planeswalker allies to confront the Elder Dragon. But Nicol Bolas has also been recruiting planeswalkers of his own. He and those working for him have infiltrated and placed themselves at key positions within the hierarchy of half of the guilds that run Ravnica. Through subterfuge, deceit, or promises of power, Bolas gained agents to further his designs in the planeswalkers Ral Zarek, Dovin Baan, Vraska, Kaya, Domri Raid, and Liliana Vess. Knowingly or unknowingly, all of these agents helped sow discord and create strife within the guilds and across Ravnica, dividing the plane before Bolas's planned arrival. Vraska and Kaya destabilized the integrity of the guild system by murdering several leaders and creating a power vacuum, seen in cards like Kaya's Wrath and Assassin's Trophy. Baan infiltrates the Azorius Senate. Domri and the Gruul clans create chaos and disorder, and Liliana awaits Bolas's command when the time is right. Perhaps the largest piece of the puzzle comes with the Izzet planeswalker Ral Zarek, his guild parent Niv Mizzet, and the experiment Zarek has been working on titled Project Lightning Bug. The Firemind is nearly as old as Bolas himself and almost as powerful. He long ago discovered the existence of other planes and planeswalkers. He had Ral create Project Lightning Bug as a device that could detect the appearance of such beings on Ravnica. Niv Mizzet realizes a threat to the entire plane is imminent and orders Ral to turn the project into an interplanar beacon, illustrated in the art of its card. A device used to call planeswalkers from across the blind eternities and draw them into Ravnica. This technology is so powerful that it requires great concentration of will on a planeswalker's behalf to resist the call. In moments, Ravnica becomes the site for the greatest gathering of planeswalkers in the history of the multiverse, seen in the art of Ignite the Beacon. Unfortunately for Niv Mizzet and all on Ravnica, this is exactly what Bolas has planned all along. The Elder Dragon had a Dimir thought spy plant a thought in the mind of the Izzet Parent, the thought of calling as many planeswalkers to Ravnica as possible. With the ignition of the interplanar beacon, the destruction of several guild leaders, and the city on the brink of desolation, the final piece of Bolas's decades-long plan is finally in place. The Elder Dragon alights on the plane of Ravnica and begins the process of achieving godhood. The War of the Spark has begun. With the help of Tezzeret's stolen planar bridge technology, Bolas creates a planar portal connecting Ravnica to the plane of Amonkhet. From his citadel, the Elder Dragon unleashes on the city thousands upon thousands of undead Eternals in his Dreadhorde army. Lazotep, after all, is inorganic matter and has no issue crossing the planar portal. The bridge opens right in the chamber of the Guild Pact, and the Dreadhorde army mobilizes, initiating wholesale slaughter. These events are highlighted in the art and flavor text of Emergence Zone. The planar bridge opened over the chamber of the Guild Pact, reducing the symbol of Ravnica's endurance to rubble. And the sentiment of shock, horror, utter defeat is echoed in the art and flavor text of Ravnica at War, which reads, "The heart of Ravnica disappeared before anyone could strike a blow in its defenses." The marching Eternals turn on the city, and they are led from the front by Liliana Vess, who uses her power of necromancy to more efficiently order their movements as the Dreadhorde General. Streets fill with the din of battle and screams of death. Buildings topple, and entire districts are reduced to ash. But the horror is just beginning. The Gatewatch and hundreds of other planeswalkers from across the multiverse find themselves drawn to Ravnica like moths to a flame. With so many sparks gathered in one place, Nicol Bolas begins the second stage of his plan. With the assistance of Dovin Baan, the immortal sun that Bolas acquired on Ixalan is activated. All of the planeswalkers in the city are now trapped, unable to planeswalk away due to the power of the immortal sun. This is showcased in the card No Escape. And this is exactly when Nicol Bolas' plan is made apparent. The reason he's gathered so many planeswalkers, so many sparks, is that they are required to fuel the spell that will finally grant him the power due. Nicol Bolas casts the Elder Spell, archaic and mysterious sorcery that transforms his Eternals into harvesters and carriers of sparks. We can see this unfold in cards like the Elder Spell and Spark Harvest. After an Eternal kills a planeswalker and harvests their spark, it flies through the air towards the Elder Dragon, who gathers them as they grant him more and more power. Domri Rade is the first planeswalker to fall victim to the Elder Spell, but he isn't the last, as the Dreadhorde massacre
Showed a picture of him.
With no way of retreating, many of the planeswalkers join the Gatewatch and turn to attack Bolas and his army of undead. As fighting spreads across the city, planeswalkers split into teams to disrupt the Elder Dragon's plans. Some protect civilians, others fight off the advancing Dreadhorde, but the most critical task is to deactivate the Immortal Sun and allow planeswalkers to flee. Each step forward is met with 2 steps backward, and as the fighting intensifies, Bolas unleashes the gods of Amonkhet, which have themselves been transformed into Eternals to serve their god pharaoh.
Oof.
The aura around Bolas grows wider, and his power is increasing beyond comprehension. The window to strike is closing fast. Gideon Jura, armed with the reforged Blackblade, takes to the skies in a desperate attempt to strike Bolas with a blade that has already slain one Elder Dragon. As he courses through the air, Gideon is knocked from his mount by an arrow shot from God Eternal Oketra, He plummets from the sky, as does the hope for Ravnica. But before he lands, he's aided by the demon Perrin Rakdos, Lord of Riots. The demon takes Gideon Blackblade to Bolas, where he leaps, plunging the sword into the dragon. But once more, Nicol Bolas has planned for every eventuality. Centuries ago, the dragon realized the power and threat of the Blackblade, and so enchanted it so that it could never again harm an Elder Dragon.
Dang.
As Jura strikes, the blade fractures into a dozen pieces, highlighted in the art of Tyrant's Scorn. The opportunity is lost. The window to defeat Bolas is closed. Liliana Vess, contractually obligated to serve the Elder Dragon, marches
This was
on
actually
Gideon
really cool.
and the other
Like, this
planeswalkers with
video
their army
that
of
they show
opponents.
this,
Gideon falls under the weight of dozens of undead. Bolas stands triumphant in all his glory. He's finally broken past the Great Mending's Veil and regained the power of a planeswalker of old. But as Liliana surveys the wreckage, as she witnesses the atrocities befall Ravnica and remembers her old oath she made to the Gatewatch, she has a change of heart. Using her necromancy and the power of the Chain Veil, Liliana does the unthinkable and turns the Dreadhorde on Nicol Bolas. This act of betrayal doesn't surprise the Elder Dragon, and he immediately enacts the magic of the contract that controls Liliana's soul. Vess desperately sends the Eternals to strike, but even so, her body frays under the power of Bolas. Just before she is no more, Gideon Jura steps in and, using his Hieromancy, transfers the contract to himself, sacrificing his own life to save hers. Seen in the card, Gideon's sacrifice.
so this part, it kind of reminds me of Hercules.
With Liliana alive,
When
the
he like
Eternals are no
sacrificed
longer Bolas's to control.
his like
She
godly
frees
power.
the God Eternals from their bonds, and they immediately turn on their master. Although Bolas disintegrates Oketra, he's stabbed by a reborn Niv Mizzet wielding the god Hazaret's spear. This opens an opportunity for God Eternal Bantu to strike. With a massive bite, she rips into the dragon god, tearing from him all of the sparks he collected, as well as his own. This is seen in the art of D-Spark. In a flash, the machinations of Bolas, the years of planning, manipulating and conquering, all crumble to dust. With grievous wounds and without his power, Bolas is nearing the end, when suddenly, Ugin, his twin whom he thought dead, appears before him. Ugin informs Bolas that he's always had eyes on his brother. He reveals that he used the spirit gem between Bolas's horns to spy on his brother, since it's a part of his own being, and he planned Nicol Bolas's defeat with Sarkhan Vol and Niv Mizzet. Fearing that Bolas had predicted his own death, but not his imprisonment, Ugin doesn't allow Nicol to be killed. Instead, he sweeps his
my
beloved
God.
brother into his wings and planeswalks to the meditation plane, while Chase
Ugin,
Bellin
why?
plants an illusion of Bolas disintegrating. Months after the War of the Spark, Nicol awakens on the meditation plane to find that his titles, his power, his scales, and even his name have all been stripped from him. Ugin has prevented his brother from ever being summoned again, and from ever using his power to sow discord on the multiverse. Ugin
Okay.
merges his essence with that of the meditation plane, cutting it off from the rest of the multiverse to prevent any being from planeswalking to it. It's here that Bolas is to remain, living out the rest of his natural days in solitude, to relive the blow to his ego over and over again. This is highlighted in the art and flavor text of Prison Realm, which reads, "After millennia to craft victory, Bolas has eternity to contemplate defeat."
Dang.
Nicol Bolas, the Forever Serpent, survivor of the Elder Dragon War, second son and God Pharaoh, has lost his power and his immortality. His plane-shattering capabilities and world-bending machinations will never again wreak havoc on the multiverse. So desperate to regain his godhood, and now he has nothing. So focused on one goal, and it has eluded him. Nicol Bolas spent his entire 30,000 years seeking power, and he is now left with none. The War of the Spark is over, and Bolas sits in anguish and defeat. But is this really the end of the Elder Dragon, a creature
Probably
that
not.
has outlived and outwitted nearly everything in existence? None can say for certain, but perhaps Bolas is regaining some of his lost strength. We may see a glimpse of this in the card Archon of Cruelty from Modern Horizons 2. Its name and ability is an homage to Cruel Ultimatum from the Alara block, a spell that depicts Bolas using his power. Additionally, in the background we see a landscape much akin to the meditation plane, with two mountains curved in a familiar horned shape, a floating stone in between. This may not be the last of Nicol Bolas, for what is a prison but a place from which to break free? Thanks for watching this video on the rise and ultimate fall of Nicol Bolas.
All right. So yeah, now we've like wrapped up pretty much Nicol Bolas' story, where he like pretty much where he started at, where he ended at, and like the fact that Ugin saved him. Like Ugin, come on, man. Ugh. Ugin is constantly getting in his own way, and well, in everybody's way. And the fact that he's just like, yeah, you know what? I don't want my brother to die. I get that, but at the same time, like letting this dude live after all the mayhem he caused. Mm, mm.
Kremilirik. He coming back, if he ain't dead he ain't done.
Right, right. Some of these chats. Apparently in one of these people's language, bolus means balls. Okay, this is crazy. This dude saved his brother, stopped him. Like, if he died, everything would be very smooth. But the fact that he's just chilling somewhere, mm, mm. Yeah, this is the reason why I had to stop and actually pull out of uh
Kremilirik.
the magic stuff so you
Ha
guys
ha
can
ha ha,
hear.
I mean he got them.
Yeah. But so many people died because of this guy. That's all I'm saying. So many people died because they just would not deal with him. And now he's just chilling somewhere. Uh, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that bit of lore of MTG finding out about what happened to this guy. There's a lot of other stories that are really cool. I'm not gonna draw Gideon, but we can listen to Gideon. I got like about 14 minutes before I gotta go, so we're gonna get another one up and rolling.
Atop Zendikar's great cliffs, with sorrel blades slicing the wind, stands a lone figure, a sole survivor
This is the one
of
who
Cataclysm,
sacrificed himself
unleashed
for
by the awakened
Liliana.
Eldrazi Titans, whose devastation threatens the entire plane.
Kind of
His
reminds me of
dauntless
Hercules.
character and firm heart are unmoved by the dread, fear, and hopelessness of the Eldrazi terror. When first we meet the planeswalker Gideon Jura, he is an exemplar of justice, an invincible warrior that thinks not of his own safety, but how he can best safeguard the downtrodden. But this outward facade hides a moving story of one who had lost faith, lost friends and hope, and struggled over years and over planes to recover the guiding light of his inward character.
Kremilirik.
This is the
Should he
tale
have
of
though?
Kithian Iora of Akros, his transformation into legendary
Eh,
Gideon Jura. and his ultimate
If
decision
she
in Death's
didn't
crucible.
stop, if he didn't save her or stop her from dying, then Nicol Bolas would still be alive or like free running around. So technically,
Gideon Jura is a
yeah,
human planeswalker
but
from the
someone else
Greek-inspired
have done
plane of
that.
Theros, where faith
Yeah,
strengthens and belief transforms reality. With a first appearance in the original Zendikar block, Gideon's wide-aligned mana association hasn't deterred or been joined by another in all 8 of his printings, which hints at a certainty of self, an unyielding character. Jura channels white mana in the form of hieromancy, or law magic, to bind foes and grant order to the worlds he visits. But far greater than his mystical prowess is Gideon's physical might and martial genius. The man who wades into chaos and combat without reserve and delivers justice upon the wicked, adorned in his glistening armor and wielding his iconic weapon of choice, the whip-like, many-bladed Searle attached to his bracer, which we can see in the art of many of his cards. With a wide frame and muscular physique, Jura is a dominating presence. Even in hand-to-hand combat does he defeat enemies of justice. Perhaps Jura's greatest weapon of all lies in his invulnerability. Hieromancy weaves thick flows of pure white mana into unbreakable chains that deflect nearly all onslaughts and protect Gideon on the battlefield. His invulnerability is represented in the indestructible mechanic that appears on his Planeswalker cards, or else in his ability to prevent damage. With Searle, with corded muscles, with impenetrable defenses, Gideon Jura alone sways the outcome of countless conflicts and marshals heroes to duty's call. The man's philosophy is shaped largely by his color alignment, and Gideon shares in many white mana ideals. He believes order is the key to community, the equalizer of society, and that he is a weapon of justice aimed at evil exploiting innocence or downtrodden, a belief perhaps fashioned by the dark remorse of past trauma. Jura is also a capable leader whose natural charisma wins over many warriors. His skill allows Gideon to fly into the fray and lead by example. He inspires those around him with heroic deeds and earns their trust, which we hear in the flavor text of Companion of the Trials.
Mm.
The fiercest loyalties are
Welcome
earned
to the
in
stream.
battle.
Let's poppin'. How's everybody doing?
Jura is also a proponent of combined arms, and that through unified might can greater good be achieved than in isolation. A sentiment shared by white mana's solidarity and legions of soldiers. This notion is best exemplified in his ability not only to lead, but to guide as a general does the troops in his charge, brilliantly highlighted in the card Smite the Monstrous, the flavor text of which reads, "After watching the core in battle, Gideon understood the difference between working together and working as one." Though not completely won over to it, Gideon shared in some red mana beliefs and possessed a fiery zeal for justice, the flames of which weren't so easily doused. He worked alongside the red and white aligned Boros Legion of Ravnica, but ultimately saw how Red's passion might lead to impetuous action, moral dogma, and unpredictability. This conflicted greatly with Gideon's hieromantic tendencies. How is it that this warrior mage became a champion for the innocent across the multiverse? The founding member of the planeswalking league known as the Gatewatch, and confronted the malevolent elder dragon Nicol Bolas in Ravnica's War of the Spark. To understand his person, we must understand Gideon's story, a tale that begins in his youth on the idyllic plain of Theros. Gideon Jura is born Kythian Eora in the bustling polis of Akros on the Greek-inspired plain of Theros. Here, myth is made manifest and belief carries weight. Therans as a whole, and Akroans in particular, are obsessed with glory. They undertake great deeds and heroic acts worthy of legend in hopes of attracting the immortal eye of their fickle gods and earning a place within the afterlife's decorated realm of Elysia. It's Akroan ferocity in battle and pursuit of renown that likely color the young Kythian's outlook, inspire his actions, and instill a strong character. But From an early age, Eora is orphaned and forced to fend for himself in the filthy, cramped city streets. Here, he falls in with a gang of local vagrants whose own adversity have turned them to lives of petty crime. Within this group of youngsters, Kithian learns the significance of cooperation, communication, and companionship. The
He's a
white man
hoodlum.
ideals he will later embody are first embraced on the streets of Akros. As Eora travels with the group, his charisma and quick wit soon earn him both the respect of the other members and their loyalty. With their own harsh upbringings in mind, the band soon turns to stealing from the rich and distributing to the poor. This we hear in the sentiment of Kithian's irregulars.
Maybe
Kithian
not
and
as
his
much as the
irregulars
hoodlum.
worked outside the law to bring justice to the streets of Akros. Eora is made into a robber prince and lauded as a savior amongst the less fortunate. But after a time, the youth is bested, caught, and thrown into the great prison fortress of Akros, administered by the Castellan and prison warden Hixus. Hixus is stern, but he sees great potential in Eora, a budding heroism and selflessness that need only be molded into something more. The warden is also a master of hieromancy, the magic of law and order. He takes Kithian under his wing, teaches the boy of combat, of hieromancy, of mastering his passionate emotion to touch the clarity offered in order. For many years, Kithian learns from Hixus. We hear his words of wisdom and admonition in cards like Grasp of the Hieromancer and Suppression Bonds. There is power in abandon, but far more in control. And a master of hieromancy can see the advantage in any scenario. Eora's skills are tested when fell beasts attack the fortress. Hixus offers freedom to any prisoner willing to fight in its defense, and Eora jumps at the opportunity to not only break his chains, but demonstrate his prowess. Eora rallies prisoners and organizes his irregulars like a marshal on the battlefield, which we see in the art of the card, Kithian's Tactics. With his hieromancy and dauntless spirit, Kithian wins the day for Akros. His actions earn him his independence and something more beside, the notice of Heliod, god of the sun. Eora proved his courage in battle and his skill with a blade. For this, he is made Heliod's champion. The god requests Kithian soon confront a far greater threat, a titan of the underworld sent forth by the black-aligned god Erebos. Again, Kithian coordinates with his irregulars, and again they win victory on the field. But the yearning for glory, the desire for renown, compels Eora to confront a god, and he launches Heliod's spear at Erebos.
Mm.
Cataclysm is born of this rashness. Erebos deflects the spear with a wave and sends it careening into Kithian's troops. In an instant, Eora's friends, his companions and family, are all dead.
Dang.
And as the sole survivor, he is isolated in his misery. Such recklessness and anguish is illustrated in the card Tragic Arrogance. The spear thrown by Kithian's own hand was the weapon that felled his friends.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
The trauma shatters Kithian's heart and ignites a latent planeswalker spark held deep within. The life he knew is destroyed. Eora planeswalks blindly into the multiverse and lands on Bant, the white, blue, and green aligned shard of Alara. He leaves his identity and memories behind in disgusted self-reproach. Kithian Eora is dead. The young man now claims the name Gideon Jura. Bant is a land of cultivated beauty, of rigid structure, and of noble sacrifice. Its great city-states are defended by knights and squires who would gladly die for the endurance of their peoples. It's exactly the climate Jura needs to calm the raging storm within and cast light into the festering darkness of his mind, his failure still a fresh wound. He learns to temper his emotion. He devours tutorials in knighthood and continues to hone his budding hieromancy. We see Gideon's apprenticeship in Knight of the Pilgrim's Road, the text of which is a profound moral lesson. To be a knight, Gideon, is to be the shield for the meek against the cruel. And we're then witness to his acceptance as a knight of Bant as he rides atop a majestic Litau and defends the nations against interlopers, illustrated in the card Swift Reckoning. Jura's time on Bant is formative to his notions about law, justice, and community, as well as his relentless defense of the meek. But he is soon drawn to the plain of Regatha, with rumors of a font of pure white mana housed within a temple keep and defended by the mysterious order of Heliod, not to be confused with Heliod, god of Theros. Gideon's wish to study the purifying fire, purported to burn the very soul of those who pass it and lay bare all sin, leads him into the path of red-aligned planeswalker Chandra Nalaar. The Order of Heliod's leader tasks Gideon with tracking and returning the Pyromancer to their custody, granting access to the fire as recompense. As Jura follows young Nalaar through the blind eternities and across multiple planes, he sees within her someone impetuous and spirited, but with a pure heart, and works hard to keep her from harm. The pair fight in tandem through various trials before they eventually return to Regatha, where the Order's true intent is revealed. They deceived Gideon and wished to use the purifying fire on Chandra so that they might take her spark and powers as a planeswalker. Immense guilt spurs Gideon to action, and he discovers a way Nalaar might pass through the fire unscathed. With power and life intact, she proceeds to burn down the keep, destroy the Order, and before planeswalking, warns Gideon against placing his faith in organizations of oppressive cruelty.
See, we get a little overlap. We got a little overlap.
Their paths will cross once more. But little does he know the gravity of those circumstances.
All right. We'll have to finish this tomorrow. That's a nice chapter and a nice crossover to end at while I wrap up the last bit of this design for Chandra. We learned a lot today. Hopefully we all enjoyed these. If you want, we can continue the rest of Gideon's story tomorrow. That one has like 32 minutes and I actually streamed a lot longer than I anticipated today. But you know, we're here now. I'm happy that everybody joined me for another stream. What a nice quote. You were defeated the moment you declared your aggression. But you know, another Magic the Gathering stream where we finished up a design. I actually need to sketch out the next one, which will be Liliana. If I do this and that, there we go. We get to see. Nope, not that one. Where's my other mini? That's the big one. There we go. Up. Here we go. Yeah. So I need to sketch out Liliana's. I don't know if I'll have it done by tomorrow, but I'll see what I can cook up in the meantime. But yeah, we have another design knocked out. We did Jace, we have Chandra, and I said I wasn't gonna do Gideon. I was gonna do a Johnny instead, the lion guy. So you'll get to see his story, hear about him. Johnny the Lion Gold Mage, yeah. You'll hear about him a little bit later. But as always, I appreciate everybody joining me for another session. Until next time, you could be anywhere else, but you're here with me right now, and I really appreciate it. Come and join me in the morning for my Five Nights at Freddy design. We're working on Chico. Don't make me lie, I don't know. All right, we're working on the duck. So join me in the morning session at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for another design. And we'll be jamming to some music and having a good time. I hope you all have a good night. Get some rest, drink some water, eat dinner. Ciao.
Have a good night.
You too, Cry. Have a good night.